think Unsuk is one of the few composers who are actually as much appreciated by the great big public as the connoisseurs of the avant-garde music. Her way of writing is very accessible at the same time as it is very well done and informative. I think she's a very, very interesting name. I know that when Unsuk writes pieces, concertos, she's always inspired by the soloist, and this was also the case with the cello concerto. Alban met Unsuk and he played for her, and she was inspired, and so it's really written for the virtuosity and sound for Alban Gerhardt. And I love Unsuk's music because she's very original, a composer. She has a very energetic way of writing music, I think, very, very dense, and there's also always a lot of expression. And this is maybe a little bit exceptional in the sense that since the cello is such a melodic instrument, she has written perhaps less rhythmical music than usual, but it's a fascinating piece. Oh, the Dvorak is such a beautiful piece. It's really the cello, it's such a beautiful piece. It's really the cello singing. It's like an aria for the cello. And it has the atmosphere of the Silent Woods, I think, perfectly. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece, very expressive, and it provides a beautiful transition from the modern cello to then the woods of Finland and Sibelius. It's a beautiful piece. Yeah, it's difficult for me to be analytical about Sibelius because I really grew up with it. It's in the mother's milk in a way. The sonorities and the harmonies and all that. It's really something that I feel like a mother language, or sorry, mother tongue. Is that the word?
Yes.
It feels like my native language musically. The importance of Sibelius in the Finnish music life is probably. I don't know if there is anything comparable in other countries. He's really been an important figure, politically and musically, and also it's beautiful to see his musical development through the symphonies. He started as a romantic, maybe even Tchaikovsky-inspired composer, and then he became more and more original. And the last symphonies are almost enigmatic in a way. And the fifth is in the middle, and it has its victorious qualities, but it also has this folk music characters, and definitely the landscapes are there. I know this is a cliche, but it's really horizon, slow pacing, which is very typical for our landscape. We don't have big mountains, but we have open areas, and yeah, I'm in love with this piece, and it's also very nice now that the manuscripts have been revealed to know that the first movement of the fifth originally was two different movements, and then he made them into one big development, one big accelerando. There are the formal elements, but also about orchestration. He changes the roles in the orchestra so that the strings are more texture, and the winds are actually having the melody, which is maybe not the case in the older repertory in general. So this changes the sonority a lot. Also, he gives double basses a very, very different role from the cello, and little things like that. The horns are like, they sound like the woods for me, but they are very poetic always, and timpani writing, lots of beautiful orchestral textures, definitely. Speaking of symphonies, of course, the comparison between the way Sibelius writes symphonies as opposed to how Haydn did it 200 years before is very, very interesting. But Haydn is also a special case because he's always playing with symmetry. Everything is asymmetrical actually in Haydn's symphonies, and I love that. And it's very, very, it gives a sense of humor. It's formally perfect, and the continuity is there. But the phrases are always a little bit too short or a little bit too long, and you're constantly surprised. And that's a wonderful character about Haydn, and that's why it's always fresh, I find.